Blackhawks lose 3-1 to the Calgary Flames in what was one of the games of all time. Um, that was just a very average, boring game. Welcome back to the Blackhawks Conversation postgame show. My name is Ryan McGregor. If you are new here, I post postgame shows after every single Chicago Blackhawks game, win or lose, no matter what. I'm here after the game, breaking it down, talking about it from a fan perspective. So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single postgame. This show is also available on Apple Podcasts if you'd rather listen and not have to look at me. Um, like I said, that was one of the games of all time, man. That was kind of a boring one. Um, going into this game, Hawks were 19, 20, and 7. You get Bedard back, although Teravainen's out, still with that upper body injury from last game. Spencer Knight starts, and Louis Crevier is playing his 100th game. So that's what we got going into it. Um, Blackhawks on home ice after what was it, 2 days rest. The lines got going in were the same as they've been recently. Green, Bedard, Burakovsky, Bertuzzi, Dickinson, Mikheyev, Donato, Moore, Lardis, Doc, Foligno, Slaggert. Defense doesn't change. Um, this game, uh, it was one of those games where I think the Hawks are going to kick themselves for not having won that game, and the difference came down to one thing, and I will get to that later. There's one reason they lost this game. Um, so to start the game, both teams came out fast. It was a fast game, right out the gate. Um, Good early pressure from the Hawks. The fourth line had a good first shift, and then the fourth line converts off a goal from the captain, Nick Foligno, from Doc and Slaggert. So the Calgary had a little bit of a miscommunication in the neutral zone, causes a turnover. Hawks bring it in, Slaggert to Doc. Doc with a beautiful little drop behind the back pass. And Nick Foligno just snipes it into the top right corner. Um, it was a nice goal, and it was that's how you want to start the game on home ice. You got Calgary in town, a team that is not very good, and if you're the Hawks and you're thinking, okay, we still think we're in this race. This is a team. This is a game that you come in thinking we have to win this. There's no excuse why we shouldn't win this game. But then Sharon Govich ties it pretty quickly after on the power play. It took them roughly 5 seconds to score on the power play. I don't have it in front of me. Um, so also interesting note on this goal. It was a power play goal for the Flames. It's the first uh goal on the penalty kill the Hawks have allowed in 17 kills. So that was pretty cool. The Hawks penalty kill has been really good this year. Um, so yeah, Sharon Govich makes it 1-1 the power play goal. You start off the draw, puck gets back to the blue line. Connor Zary takes the puck to the net hard, and then the rebound's kind of bobbling. You have a little bit of a scramble. Vlasic can't get a stick on it. Green can't get a stick on it. And credit to Michael Backlund. He makes a good play. He kind of taps it over to the open man, who's Sharon Govich, who puts it home. So credit to Backlund on that play. It was a really nice play. Um, so it's 1-1, and then the Hawks get their turn on the power play. They get their turn on the power play. It takes them a couple tries to break in. They're trying again. They're coming up the ice. Bedard and Burakovsky are doing that east-west hockey in the neutral zone, back and forth. Instead of just going into the zone, like I've said in the past, I'm a fan of the dump and chase. If you're a man up, it's 5-on-4. You should be dumping that puck in hard and going after it because you are on the man advantage, and that is quite the advantage when it comes to board battles. So I'm a big fan of dump and chase, but of course the Hawks don't do that. They do the pushback. Bedard and Burakovsky are passing it back and forth. Burakovsky turns it over. It's a breakaway the other way for Michael Backlund. Shorthanded goal. And just like that, it goes from 1-0 Chicago, energy in the building, to 2-1 Flames, and it's dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Um, and that's what my real I can't speak. My real annoyance on this goal is the overpassing and like I was just ranting about the zone entries. I mean, I can't tell you how fed up I am with the pushback entry. I hate it. I don't know anybody who doesn't hate it. Like it's so frustrating. I get that that's what teams do now. That's the way the game is evolving. But just because every other team does it, why do we have to do it? It's not often you'll see a pushback like tonight. We saw it. The pushback power play will fail every single time the pushback entry. How many times on a power play, let's say a team they're using the dump and chase entry. How many times do you see that fail 5 times in a row on a power play? I sure don't. You might fail it once. Maybe they'll clear it on the second time too. But you're not gonna fail it 5 times on a power play. But what you can easily fail 5 times on a power play is the pushback because it's extremely predictable. Once they say you do it once, they know what you're gonna do. And especially with the Hawks, they know Bedard is gonna carry that puck in. Bedard and Burakovsky can do all the passing in the neutral zone they want. Unless they are right on Bedard, they know he's carrying that puck in. And if they are right on him, they know Burakovsky's carrying the puck in. They know they're not going to dump it in. Anyway, that's just I'm so sick of the pushback. The pushback entry, but I've gone over this so many times. So, yeah, the first period first period goes on. Honestly, Bedard was flying. This whole game, Bedard was flying. Um, but the passing was bad. They couldn't complete a pass to save their lives in the first period, and somehow they come out of the first period up 9-6 in shots. Um, as for the quality of those shots, I mean that was back in the first period. I don't fully remember, but I feel like the Flames kind of had better quality, even though we had the quantity. You get to the second period. Again, it was kind of fast to start. Both teams are, somewhat trading chances in the first 5 minutes. Um, Hawks get another power play. I have a power play rank coming, so I'm gonna skip over that. Green had a really nice shorthanded attempt where he tried to go through the legs. That would have been goal of the year. I love that confidence. I love that confidence from Ryan Green. Here's the thing, Ryan Green. He has been so snake bitten. I don't know how many games it's been now that Ryan Green hasn't scored a goal. It feels like it's been 45 years. Um, but the guy's still confident. Like that between the legs move isn't a move you see from a guy who is feeling the weight of going how long Ryan Green has gone without scoring. I think most guys who have been snake bitten for that long are just chopping the puck on net any way they can. I don't think they're going through the legs. So I like the confidence of Ryan Green there, given the scenario and given the circumstance he's in. So yeah, that would have been a goal of the year candidate for sure. And then Murphy lays out Farabee in the neutral zone. Clean hit, really nice hit. Farabee didn't like it. Murphy got the worst end of it. The guy was completely winded, got the wind sucked out of him after that hit. So it's funny. You see Farabee come up to him and he's like, "All right, we're fighting. Come on, like, what was that? Even though it was a clean hit." And Connor Murphy, you can see him go like, "Give me a second. The wind got knocked out of me." And he gets up and he's like, "All right, now we'll go." And they drop the gloves, and Murphy kind of handed Farabee his ass or whatever the saying is. But so it's kind of funny to see Murphy lay out Farabee with a clean hit. Farabee get butt hurt by it and be like, "You got to fight me now." And then Farabee kind of get his ass kicked a little bit. Or maybe getting his ass kicked might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I think Murphy definitely won that fight. And it got chippy, man. Ball then throws a huge hit. Again, a clean hit. I wasn't mad about it, but a huge hit on Oliver Moore. Not Doc. Donato immediately steps in, starts. He kind of, I think, ball went down with the hit, and Donato just throws his gloves off, jumps in front of him, and you can just see Donato doing this. So I love that out of Donato. Um, so Donato gets one of the extra penalties, and then I mean everyone stepped in after that, but Levshinov, I forget who he was battling with, but he's throwing gloves on, they're throwing punches, grabbing each other. Again, I forget who he was with, but um him and the guy go down to the ice, and Levshinov still go. This is probably the angriest I've ever seen Artem Levshinov, which was cool. I want to see that emotion out of Levshinov. He's trying to grab. He's got like his face down. He's trying to grab the Flames player, and he ends up grabbing the back of the head of the referee. And the referee's like, absolutely not. Like he starts pointing to the bench, like get out of here. And I think there was probably under 2 minutes to go in the period, so it wasn't like one of those, you're done for the night. It was more of a like it's penalty, but get the fuck out of here. So I don't mean to swear. I try not to swear on this show, but sometimes it happens. Um, so yeah, this game was getting chippy, and then at the very end of the second period, Matt Grizzlick had a grade A chance off a beautiful Connor Bedard pass, and of course it was saved by Cooley, who had a good night. And at the end of the second, shots are 18-17 Chicago. So Chicago, you know, in shots on goal, leading this game. Um, so when we get to third period, it's 4-on-4 to start because of all the shenanigans. Uh and I noticed too, they put the Bedard, Bertuzzi, Burakovsky line together, uh, and from my count, only for one shift in the third. I saw it early on, and I was kind of hoping they would keep it going to spark something because this team couldn't get any offense going, and we'll get into that. But a credit to the Flames on that one. It wasn't just that the Hawks didn't really look. The Hawks didn't look good offensively, but it wasn't just their own doing. The Flames also, credit to them, the Flames also played a very good defensive game. Um, and then yeah, the Hawks just can't tie it, and they get an empty net goal. And on that empty net goal, Burakovsky didn't have a good night, and on that empty net goal, he turns the puck over once again, back the other way comes Coronado, and it's like a one on one with two Hawks pressuring from behind basically, or one Hawk I believe, maybe two, pressuring Coronado from behind, and Levshinov is very passive. He's kind of like hesitating the stick check. I'd like to see Levshinov be a little more aggressive because Coronado's in on his own. It's a one on one, and Coronado's got back pressure. So even if Levshinov's stick check doesn't work, he has help. And also, it doesn't really matter because it's an empty net. If you don't check him, he's probably going to score, and he did. So I'd like to see Levshinov be a little more aggressive on that play. And on the note of Artem Levshinov, um, he seemed a little bit unsure of himself today. Tonight, the confidence didn't seem to quite be there when he had the puck, like we've seen a lot of other nights. Um, he just seemed a little unsure. And I think, to me it looked like we were kind of seeing what we saw last year in his stint in the NHL and then the beginning of this season where you can see the wheels turning in his head. You can see him thinking, and I feel like we kind of saw a little bit of that tonight. A mix of that, and I don't know if how much of it was that and how much of it was maybe a confidence and unsure of himself thing, but I feel like something was going on there. Let me know if you noticed that too. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm out of my mind, but it seemed like that was the case for me with Levshinov tonight. But yeah, so the big thing for me tonight was the special teams. The Hawks get 4 power plays. They go 0 for 4. I'm not going to rant about the pushback entry again. I've already did it. I'm not going to do it again. You know how I feel about that. They get 4 power plays. They go 0 for 4. They didn't get their first shot on goal on the power play until the fourth power play. And it's hard to be too mad because for a team that's near the bottom of the NHL, being able to say that both their special teams are top 10 in the league, like I can't rip on the special teams too much, but you really, and you're going to have nights where your power play doesn't score. Like there's going to be nights where it goes 0 for 4, but to not even get your first power play shot on goal until the fourth power play in a tight game, that's just unacceptable. And it's not like we don't have Bedard. Bedard's back and he looked good tonight. Um, he was trying to shoot the puck a lot, and he had a couple really good scoring chances. He looked really good tonight. But yeah, at the power play, like you just want more from the power play, even if they don't score. Like, because again, that's gonna happen. You're gonna have nights where the power play doesn't score. Like they're gonna go 0 for 4 sometimes, but you wanna see more at least some more generation off of it. Like, if one of those power plays, say they get, 3, 4, 5 shots on goal on one power play, which they're capable of, they've done it before. Maybe they don't score, yeah, but, like, that's gonna generate some momentum maybe, So, and at least get the ball rolling offensively. They just couldn't get anything tonight. And, again, like I said earlier, it's a credit to the Flames. The Flames did a really, really good job of shutting down the Hawks offensively. They must have watched some tape prior to this game because they knew how to stop that power play. They knew how to stop the rush. They knew how to clog up the middle. They knew how to not let Bedard break in. They knew what they were doing against this Hawks team. So a credit to them. It also felt like they always had two guys on the puck carrier. And I find it really impressive when a team does that. But every time the Hawks had the puck, especially along the boards in the offensive zone, it felt like there were two Flames right on the puck, especially higher up near the blue line. Which again, I'm gonna say for like a 40th time, credit to the Flames. They did really well. And yeah, as much as the Flames played good, you do want more out of the Hawks, unfortunately. So, for me, like again, for like shots too, at the end of the game were 23-23. Like this was a relatively close game, 5-on-5. Like if you take out special teams, it's a 1-1 game, right? I believe. Yeah, if you take out special teams, it's a 1-1 game. So 5-on-5, like I didn't think they played a bad game. They actually, and their problem has been 5-on-5 this year. But 5-on-5 tonight, I didn't think they played a horrible game. Um, Calgary shut them down offensively. They still found a way to compete and keep the shots even. Um, and they had their looks too. It's not like they had zero looks. They had their looks. Um, but if you score on one of those four power plays, if you don't let in a shorthanded goal, if your penalty kill goes 4 for 4, like to me, this game came down to special teams. Um, so yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. Again, that's like now they dropped to 19, 21 and 7. And again, when you're, they're near the bottom of the league, but with how tight the league is this year, they are still in the wild card race. But they're slipping further and further out of it if they keep losing games, and especially if they keep losing games like this that they really should be winning. Um, so after every single Blackhawks game, I take to Twitter. Feel free to follow me over there, and I ask if anybody has any questions for the post game. So if you ever have any questions about the post game, head over to Twitter, respond to that tweet, or just tweet me directly. That's fine too, and say, "Hey, post game question." If you come up with one in the first or second period, that's totally fine too. Um, Today we have a question from B Sakura. Shout out to B Sakura. I really appreciate him. He's always very active on Twitter with me, and in these videos, he's always commenting. So B Sakura, I really appreciate you listening to the show and being active in the comments and on Twitter. It means a lot to me. So your question was, I'm looking at the last two games for Colton Dock. He's been very noticeable, and Burakovsky hasn't played great. Do you make that change? Also, do you swap Donato and Bertuzzi and let Tyler play with those kids? Okay, so that's a bit of a multi-part question. Um, Colton Dach has played really well. So you're right about that. I agree, and I've noticed it too. What a pass he had tonight. Um, so he's had some really good offensive games, and he's also been really consistent playing his role, which is a physical role. Um, and yeah, Burakovsky hasn't played great. I mean, this game in particular was really noticeable. I didn't think he was that terrible coming into tonight. Sure, he's not playing his best hockey. He's certainly not playing like he was at the beginning of the year. Um, I don't know if you make that change, like I think one of the lines that is really working is the fourth line, is Doc Foligno Slaggert. So, like, yeah, you could argue that Doc deserves some sort of promotion or reward for how he's been playing, but at the same time, I also personally wouldn't want to break up that fourth line, so I'm a little torn on that. Um, and as far as swapping Donato and Bertuzzi, um, potentially, but then at that point, I'd wanna see the kids in Bertuzzi be the second line and have Donato, Dickinson, Mikheyev the third line. Um, at least I would want the minutes to reflect that because I don't think you can bury Tyler Bertuzzi as a third line forward on this team, given how he's played this year and the fact that he's been our second best forward, offensively at least. Um, so I don't know about that. I think if you do that, you kind of gotta more so pay attention to deployment and the ice time. Like I said, you kind of maybe want to make if you have Bertuzzi, sorry, with the kids, you kind of maybe want to give them second line ice time. Maybe give the Dickinson Mikheyev Donato line if that's what you're doing. Maybe more of the defensive matchups. And but then if you do that, they're probably just naturally going to have more ice time. So I don't know about that. But I like where you're at with Doc getting more ice time. I like your mindset there because I agree he definitely deserves some sort of reward promotion for that. But at the same time, again, like I said, I don't really want to break up that fourth line. I think that fourth line's been great, and uh, they were noticeably really good tonight. They generated actually quite a lot of offense. So I thought Slaggert was really good too. The whole line was great. We have another question from Calvin. Calvin, the same thing as B Sakura. He's always very active, very engaging too with this show and on Twitter. So again, Calvin, thank you very much. Um, his question is, do you think we have been goalied the last couple games? I don't think we are playing horribly, but we are having scoring issues. Um, maybe. Okay, what are the last few games? So you got Nashville the other night, 2 games ago. Nashville, I don't think we got goalied. It was a 3-0 win. Sorry if you heard that. I kind of tapped the microphone arm there. You could make an argument for Edmonton. I could see the argument for Edmonton. Yeah, I could see it. And tonight, Cooley had a great game tonight. So potentially, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think you have it more on accurate by saying we're just in like a scoring slump, like we're just having scoring trouble. Maybe more so than goal lead. Although, like I said, credit to Cooley tonight. He had a really good game. He made some really good saves. On Bedard. On he made a really good save on Grizzlick. He made one on Bertuzzi and Burakovsky. On Moore. Like he had a really good night. So I could see an argument for it, but I think you are dead on at the very least that they're in a bit of a scoring slump right now. So it'd be interesting to see what they can do to snap out of that. Maybe get the power play some more reps at practice. Um, I'm not too sure what that would mean, or maybe do what B. Sikora suggested and maybe put Bertuzzi on the kid line and see what happens there. Because if you can get Lardis and Moore heating up again like they were when Bedard was out, you really sort of diversify your scoring and where you're getting scoring from. So um, I think that's definitely something to look at and maybe something the Hawks should be paying attention to going forward because this power play when they're clicking is a top. I'll say it like top 10, top 8 power play in the league. So if they can get that back going again, I think that'll solve their scoring issues. And most of the time, 5-on-5 is the big issue, and it was kind of reversed tonight. Special teams were a weakness, and 5-on-5 was more of a strength. So, um, that's all for this post game show. Like I said, if you're new here, I post post game analysis after every single Chicago Blackhawks game. So if you're a Blackhawks fan, be sure to subscribe and join this small community of Blackhawks fans here. It's a lot of fun. And follow me over on Twitter if you want to ask questions for the game and be featured in the show. The show is also available on Apple Podcasts, so go listen over there. Leave it 5 stars. It really, really helps the show reach more Hawks fans, which is the goal. And I'm also live on TikTok before every Blackhawks game for a pregame and in the first and second intermission. So if you want to chat live and get my thoughts on the game, that is the place to do it. So that is all for me in this post game. I'll see you after the next game.